Yes. So welcome everyone to Reflect, Review, Reset. I'm so excited to have you all here. Thank you so much for joining so promptly. And I'm sorry about the technology glitch. Apologies about that. I'm happy that we're here now and we're going to start. I do not take your time here for granted. So I'm happy and I'm saying thank you for joining. And I also want to say that this is one of the best decisions you have made for yourself by joining this session. You might ask, how do I know that it's the best decision you have made for yourself? While I was preparing, I prepared with the Holy Spirit, and I know that a lot of the things I'll be sharing with us today, they're inspired by God. And because they're inspired by God, we can bank on us getting the desired result. So I'm very happy that everyone is here. So let's get right into it. Before we start, I'm going to share a document. I purposely didn't share for people who registered because I know that people have the habit of registering for events, but they never show up. So I'm just going to share the workbook here. Give me a moment. I want to share. So this is not a, a workshop that you can say, oh, let me just listen in. Because if you're listening in, you won't get anything. You have to participate. It's when you participate, you get the gist of the matter. So I've just sent the workbook. Please download. And once you've downloaded, please give a thumbs up while I prepare to share my screen. Great, great. Thank you for those who have downloaded. Yeah, so we can get started. Let me share my screen. Maybe I should even do this. My screen is coming up. Tech glitch, but we'll be fine. Here we go. Can we all see my screen? Please let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes.
Great, amazing. Thank you for confirming.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is reflect, review, and reset. I'm so happy that we have 5 participants. It's fine. It doesn't matter how many people. What matters is that the number of people here, they get the gist of the matter. That's what really matters. So I want to welcome everyone again, like I've said. So let's meet you. So let's start by meeting everyone. Where are you joining us from? Just tell us the city and the country you're joining us from. I am based in Vancouver, in Canada. So if you can just put in the chat room what city you're joining us from and country, you can say Lagos, Nigeria. So I've said Vancouver, Canada. So if you whatever you're joining us from, please let us know. Let's do that. Portsmouth, UK, welcome. England, UK. I like England, UK. We know that UK and England is not the same. It took a while for me to know that actually. Lagos, Nigeria. So we have some people just joining us. Welcome, welcome. If you're just joining us, please tell us where you are joining us from, the city and the country where you're joining us from. So Ngozi, I saw that Chicago, USA, but it was a DM. Ottawa, Canada. Thank you. So we have people from England, we have people from Nigeria, we have people from Canada, we have people from USA. We're so blessed. In just we're in 4 continents. Birmingham, UK, welcome. Chicago, USA, welcome, welcome, welcome. So I'm going to do this one more time. For those that are just joining us, I'm going to share the workbook again. Please, you need the workbook because without the workbook, this session would not make much sense to you. So I'm sharing the workbook for the last time, and then we go straight into the crux of the matter. So for those that are Indiana, nice. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Nice. Thank you everyone for joining. I do not take it for granted. Thank you. Okay, so let's go on. Housekeeping. Let's do some housekeeping. Please be ready to participate actively, because if you do not participate, it's a workshop. So ideally, this is supposed to be like a face-to-face workshop. I wish I had a magic wand to bring everybody together in a room with food. I love food and a lot of fun activities, and then we're just there. So please participate actively. Another way participating actively means you're sharing your thoughts in the chat. You're using the raise hand button to share. If something resonates, you have a question, you have a comment, it's a workshop. So just imagine when you go to a carpenter's workshop, what do you see? You see tools, you see different things, and the whole place is messy. Okay, who is that? So you see different things. You see a lot of messy tools, but they are working. That's the most important thing. So you cannot be in this workshop and not do anything. So if you think this is, you just want to listen in, I'm sorry to say that you're in the wrong meeting. Have your video on. Nobody's having their video on. Some people say they can't put it on. It's fine. When you have your video on, it helps me to gauge whether we're following. If I see some expression, I can thank you, Ized. Thank you so much for putting on your video. So if you can, please, I would appreciate you have your video on. That way we can see who we have. Thank you, A2C, for putting on your video. And it can also help you stay engaged. The next thing you want to do is to sit in a quiet and comfortable room. Very important. We're looking at reflecting, reviewing, resetting. We're going to go into that. If you're not in a quiet and comfortable room, then you're going to have a lot of challenges. Get your writing materials. You have the workbook already, but it's also good that you have like your own notes. So I have my own notes as well here because I'm going to be doing some of the activities with us. Ask questions. Ask questions as much as you can. Ask questions. As I'm talking about the housekeeping, if you do not have your writing materials, it's a good time to get your writing materials. When you get a bottle of water in case you need water. Take part in all the activities. Be open-minded. Your open-mindedness would mean a lot. So let's go on. Your commitment. So I always like to do this in my meetings because I am guilty of this as well. You join a Zoom meeting and you're just like, oh, let me just listen, and you're doing 1,000,001 things at the same time. So let's take this commitment together. If you can unmute yourself, I would appreciate it. And let's read this commitment together. 1, 2, let's go. I value myself and my time and that of others. Hence tonight, I commit wholeheartedly to being present and actively engaged throughout the session. I understand the value of this learning opportunity, and I pledge to immerse myself fully in the discussions, activities, and shared knowledge. I will attentively listen, ask thoughtful questions, and contribute insights where relevant, fostering a collaborative and enriching experience for both myself and fellow participants. So help us, God. Amen. Thank you, everyone, for taking that. It's always funny when I do this, but I love to do it because you've committed that to yourself. So let's start. So we're talking about reflect, review, and reset. So we're going to be focusing on just those 3 things, but I'm going to spend more time on reflection. Time spent in self-reflection is never wasted time. It is an intimate date with yourself. This is Dr. Paul T.P. Wong saying that every time you spend time reflecting, don't think it's a wasted time. It is not a wasted time. So I want to take a poll. Just use your show of hands for this poll. How many of us spend time to reflect on a daily basis? Just raise your hand if you spend time to reflect on a daily basis. Daily basis. Well done, Seppi. Nice. Okay, I don't do it on a daily basis, but I try to do it weekly. If you do it weekly, let's see your hands. Well done, Ulfalake. Thank you, A2C. I can see your hand. Who else tries to do it maybe once a month? I do. Ngozi says weekly. IZ is saying weekly or maybe monthly. I'm not sure. Okay, I do it maybe once a quarter or once a year. Who are in that bucket? or I don't have time for self-reflection. I don't do self-reflection. If you're in the bucket of I don't do self-reflection, let's see your hand. I've not done self-reflection. The truth is that at one point or the other, we would have done some reflection, whether you like it or not. So if you're here and you're a worry king or queen, when I say worry king or queen, you know how to worry. Maybe something goes wrong and you're bothered, you're thinking about it. Yeah, what you're doing is self-reflection in a different dimension. That will add stress to you. But if you're here and sometimes you get on your bed, you find yourself thinking, that's when your brain is working and you're not sleeping on time. That's you know how to do self-reflection. So let's go right into it. Welcome, Fikewa. You're just joining us. Thank you for joining. We appreciate you. Reflect. Why is it difficult for us to reflect? And I want us to discuss here. What are the challenges you face in reflecting? Why is it that we don't do it so often? Anybody, please feel free to unmute yourself to share. Let me stop sharing so that we can have the conversation. Why is it so difficult for us to reflect?
For me, I would say hi everyone. This is Epi. I would say the reason why we don't reflect is because we're going through a lot of life issues, and they just have a way of taking um so many activities in our minds when we're supposed to actually be like, okay, you know what, let me pause and like just look back at what I'm doing if it's in line with what I aim to do for myself this year or where I'm seeing myself in the future. So I think that's one reason or one of the many reasons why we do not have the time to reflect or we don't reflect.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Seppi, for sharing that. Life is so busy. We're so caught up in a lot of things that we
Yes, sir.
forget to sometimes slow down to just think about what we're thinking about and think about what we're doing. Thank you so much for sharing that. Olufolake, please go for it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. I think also in addition to what's already been said is that sometimes when it feels like we have so much to do, we want to just keep going and keep ticking all the boxes without stopping to even check that what we're doing is actually producing the results that they're supposed to. So I think the busyness of life and having so much to do also is one of the factors.
Yes, the business of life. We just can't stop to see if what we're doing is working. We're just so caught up in what we're doing. I don't know if you've been listening to a lot of people speak these days. There's been so much talk about business, and being busy is giving us a lot of headache. Someone says sometimes I want to live in denial for a bit. Yes, sometimes you just don't want to face your problems. You don't want to look at your problems in the face because looking at your problems in the face can be like, oh, I'm going to go against that big lion. I'm going against that big problem, that big challenges, and all of that. Self-reflection, whether we like it or not, we do it consciously or unconsciously. However, when we do not, when we're not intentional in reflecting on our lives, we have issues. And I can categorically say that a lot of times when we set goals and we're not achieving our goals, is because we are not reflecting on how we've been doing our things. So thank you everyone for sharing that. Welcome to those that are just coming. Um, I don't know if someone can be magnanimous enough to just drop the workbook for them. If you're joining us, please tell us where you're joining us from, the city and the country you're joining from. Then I would ensure that you get the workbook because there's a workbook for this session. So I continue. Yeah. Yeah. So we're talking about self-reflection. We talked about why we find it difficult to reflect. So let's move on. The next slide. I'm going to start with the benefits of self-reflection. I think because we do not have enough understanding of what we stand to gain when we reflect regularly, we are not able to, maximize it. For instance, you know that if you get a job, you make money. It can be as simple as that. I get a job, I make money. Um, if I have good friends, when I have worries, I can always talk to my friends. Or when I want to go out, I have my friends to call on. If I have prayer partners, when I'm in trouble, they can always pray with me. I have some of my prayer sisters are here. So that's a very good example. So I do not take those relationships for granted. What are the benefits of self-reflection? Number one, it helps in enhancing self-awareness. A lot of people they don't even know themselves. They don't know who they are. They don't know what they like. You see people in jobs they are not supposed to be doing. You see people in, having friends they're not supposed to be having. You see people going to places they are not, that doesn't suit them. So you find these challenges. Thank you, HC, for doing that. You find some of these challenges and you're wondering why this is happening. It's just because a lot of people are not aware enough of who they are. The second benefit of self-reflection is improved decision making. When you reflect, so for instance, if you take 5 minutes of your time on a daily basis to just put your head down, shut out the noise. So for me, let me confess, I don't do self-reflection every day, but I do it at least 3 to 4 times a week. And let me tell you where I do it. I do it in the toilet or my bed. Sorry, that sounds gross. Why? Because there's nobody that'll come and disturb me there. When I'm about to sleep, my head is calm. I just want to sleep. So that's where I do my self-reflection. It helps you in decision making. When you do not have time to think about your day, okay, what has happened today? You just go to bed, you go through the day, you go to bed, you go through another day. You find out that you're making decisions that are not good enough. Another benefit is personal growth. It helps you to grow because you can say, why did I react to that person like that? Why did I respond to that question like that? Sorry, I think I hear a background noise. Why did I respond to that person like that? Why am I doing what I'm doing? And why am I doing it the way I'm doing them? Then you can begin to say, okay, I didn't do well there. Let me do better. I could have improved on that. I could have done this way. And then you see yourself growing. That is you being intentional about your growth. Reflection strengthens relationships. Let me say this. If you do not have good relationships, please begin to pray God for good relationships. It could be for those that are married, and I'm believing God for this, that you have a good relationship with your spouse. It could be with your siblings, it could be with your friends, but there's something about relationships that is very powerful. And when you have time to reflect, how am I treating my friends? How am I investing in this relationship? How am I investing time? How am I nurturing my relationships? When you begin to think about those things, it looks like, well, asking you to do a lot, but it's not a lot because I'm going to break it down. But I'm telling you the benefit of self-reflection. It reduces stress. Someone says, I love to live in denial. Maybe I just want to live in denial. That's why I do not reflect. Let me say this. When you are intentional about reflecting on your problems, I'm not saying worrying about your problems because they can be very similar. Worrying is different. And I'll show you how reflection is different. It reduces your stress because you're not focusing on the problem, you're focusing on the solution. There's mental clarity. Welcome to those that are just joining us. And for those that are on the call, if I'm saying anything that resonates with you, please just put in the chat, use emojis. This will help me to know that we're all together. It also boosts your productivity and focus. Self-reflection helps you focus. Now let's take a poll here. Put in the chat on a scale of 1 to 10, how focused are you? And let me say this, focus means when I'm doing something, I easily get distracted. So, or I don't get distracted. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being very focused, 1 being, I don't focus at all. Let's put that in the chat. 6, nice. That's above average. Well done, Seppi. Who else? 7, wow. Indeed, 4. Indeed, we are in the same boat. So 9, it just is very focused. Amazing. 4, 4. Is that Victor Antonia? Sorry. 8, 6, nice. Thank you, everyone. 8.
Yes.
We have a lot of, Victor, nice. Thank you, Victor. Thanks for joining. So that means we have a lot of people that are focused on the call. Well done. You teach us how to be focused. For those of us that are still struggling, and let me tell you why some of us struggle. We have too many things we're doing. You're a mom, you're a coach, you're a minister, you're an employee. And by the time you are doing all of that, while you're cooking, you just remember, hey, I have not sent this. I've not done that. And then your focus is gone. When you begin to reflect on a regular basis, you begin to see that your brain is able to focus better. And it also increases your confidence. So those are the benefits of self-reflection algo. So how do we do self-reflection? How do you how do you reflect? Because there's no point talking about self-reflection when we don't know how. For those just joining, this is reflect, review, and reset. And one of the things we're doing is we want to be able to help us just review 2024 and then reflect and reset for 2025. So you see that this is a workshop. If you think you're just going to sit and listen, this might not work for you. Yeah. So how do we do that? And I will share 4 simple acts to self-reflection. Number one is journaling. A lot of us do not journal. So if you journal here, show wave of hands. If you journal, just raise your hand, use the raise hand button. I can see IZ, I journal, Indidi journals, well done, Seppi journals. So from those people that are saying they journal, can you occasionally, Olufolake, thank you, thank you. Can you tell us how you feel when you journal? I just want one person. I struggle with journaling. I'll tell you how to go about it. I do. Nice, Simisola. Good to have you, Simisola. Happy New Year. So who can tell us the joy of journaling or what they've benefited from journaling? Anyone? It's a workshop, so everybody's going to have to do something.
Okay, I'll go.
Okay.
Okay, Seppi, you go.
Okay, so for me, I would say the reason why I like journaling is because it gives me the opportunity to actually pour out what's in my head down on paper and to actually see it physically, like, okay, this is what I want to do, or this is what is happening to me right now. And if there are steps or areas that I think I need to work on. So journaling just gives me like a picture of what is actually going on in my head, because sometimes there's a tendency of just having it in your head and you forget, like you won't know what to do, or okay, oh yeah, I thought about this, but what did I even say I was going to do about it? You don't have that opportunity. But writing it down, or like our host would say, journaling it down will just give you like an ideal picture of what exactly is going on in your head as a person, regarding or regardless of what you're looking at for yourself in the future, basically. But yeah.
Thank you so much, Seppi, for that. That's amazing. Indidi, you wanted to share as well.
I think Seppi has said majority of what it feels like. Because and it helps me articulate whatever I have in my head. Because I could have multiple things at the same
Okay.
time. And when I journal, it puts like a constructive perspective. So you're able to put in details, specifics. In your head, you just have an idea of what it is, but when you journal, it brings life to that idea. So yeah.
Absolutely. IZ, please go for it.
Okay, mine is kind of like before so I can't remember who spoke first. Before she spoke, I wanted to say, should I say I wanted to ask, like when we say journaling, do we mean keeping a diary or just writing things down? Because if it's for me, I write things down a lot, like because I just have come to understand the same way the Bible says, write the vision, make it plain, so that may be able to run with it. So many times, like the first person said, when you don't put it down, you just have it there. Sometimes you tend not to do, but when you put it down, you can see it. You're kind of motivated to get whatever it is you have put down. So, but if you're saying journaling as in having to keep a diary and stuff, I don't do that like often. But if it's for the other one, I do. Yes,
Yeah,
that's
thank you for sharing that perspective, because a lot of us we do it one way or the other. There's nobody that doesn't journal as long as you write things. Some people just don't write things. Some people don't like to write. I love to write. In fact, to help my journaling, please let me brag a little bit. I had to get a Kindle Scribe. I don't know if you can see it. Let me remove my background. Sorry, I want to brag a little bit. Is allowed. Adjust background. So see my Kindle Scribe, it comes with a pen. So I write in it directly. I can actually write in it. Now, the reason I got this was because I love to journal, but I find out that I have used so many journals and I can't find my journals. And every time I move, because I've been moving a lot, when I move to a new city, I have to leave my journal and I'm moving around. But with this one now, I have a tab that I can write on. You can't type on it, you can only write on it. So it makes my journaling easy. So if you write things down, sorry about that bragging. If you write things down, you actually do journal. So journaling is writing. There is something about writing. When you write, you engage all your senses. When you're thinking, you're just engaging your brain and your mind. But when you are writing, what happens? You engage your eyes, you engage your brain, you engage your feet, you even engage your hands. So that's why even the Bible says, someone mentioned, write it down and make it plain. I do not know the science behind it, but it has been proven that when you write something down, there is a 40% probability of that thing happening. Have you seen people who keep prayer journals? You find out after a while, it might take years, but you see all those prayer requests being ticked off. So for some of us that like to write tasks for the day, you notice that once you write those tasks, even without you thinking about it much, you find out that in one way or the other, you're doing it. That's the power of journaling. And always start with gratitude. So when you want to do self-reflection, start with gratitude. Because when you start with gratitude, you're going into my 5 minutes of self-reflection every day. What went well today? It's as simple as that. When you start with the mindset of looking at the beautiful things, it empowers the process of reflection. But when you go into reflection like, why did my life go the way it went today? Trust me, your mind will be focused on that problem. That moment of reflection becomes a moment of worry rather than a moment of reflection. And you'll find it difficult. Sometimes you might get solution, but it will be very difficult to get solution. But when you start with, okay, Lord, or sorry, we're all Christians, so I'm free to say, Lord, thank you for today. I love what happened today, even though not everything went well, but I'm so grateful. It switches your mindset. So we start with we're talking about how to reflect. Start with gratitude. I didn't put that there. That just came to my mind. Then journal, then meditate. So meditate is where you're thinking about it. Meditate is like, permit me to use this example. How many of us have seen goats when they chew, or lamb? They chew, they'll take their food and chew it. After a while, they will vomit it and chew it again. Sorry, it's gross. They'll regurgitate. Maybe that's the word I should have used. They regurgitate and chew again. Then after a while, they regurgitate and chew again. That is meditation. Meditation is staying focused on a particular thought and thinking about it over and over and over again. It's very similar to mindfulness. And that's why I said, if you're on this call today, please be present, because we are so busy. One of the things, permit me to say it scripturally, the enemy is using for us today is busyness. We're too busy to pray. We're too busy to fast. We're too busy to study the word. We're too busy to sit down and think about what we're thinking about. The next way to reflect is giving yourself feedback. Okay, what did I do? How am I doing? And then regular reviews. Okay, what could I have done better? Can I do it a different way? We're going to go into all of that. I hope we've been able to understand how to reflect in a simple terms. I want to take a pause there and see if that is resonating with us. You can do that by sharing an emoji or asking questions. For someone that says they are not sure how to reflect, has these steps been helpful? Thank you, Ngozi, for sharing that. Anybody else? And if you're on the call, you think there's another way to self-reflect that I've not mentioned, please feel free. It's a workshop to share. Great, 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 great. So we go on. Now, tools.
Sorry, I have a question in regards to how how to reflect in terms of like giving yourself feedback and regular, I think the last one was
regular reviews.
So my question right now would be that in a case where you're doing, for example, you're doing like your yearly or let's say weekly feedbacks as well as maybe regular reviews as well, and you get to a point where there's this sense of you not being able to accomplish what you wanted to do either for that day or for that week. how would one be able to how will I say, do the review in such a way that you would not demean yourself? Because there's that tendency when you feel like, oh, I haven't accomplished what I'm supposed to accomplish for this week, I might as well just let it go and just, keep going with the flow of life as per it is God's will. That is the will of the Lord for my life, right? So, how would you advise someone who has that kind of situation whereby instead of demeaning themselves, they should just see it as an opportunity for them to be like, you know what? Okay, we failed today. Tomorrow is another day, and we still press on. So, what would be your advice in that case?
Thank you. That's a very powerful question. So if you remember when we started, we're talking about everybody has the capacity to reflect. It's just that we do it differently, and sometimes we do it wrongly. So if you go into the that's why you have to be intentional. This time I want to reflect. And if you go into the mood of self-reflection with, I want to grow myself, I want to do things better, you're not going there to flog yourself. But if you go into it with, oh, something, okay, maybe let me give an example of my own typical day. Maybe someone said something to me and I got really angry and I lashed out. And then in my moment of reflection at the end of the day, I'm like, I'm a Christian. I shouldn't lash out. A lot of people know me. Why would I have done that? What am I doing? I can say that and be blaming myself. I can say that and be asking myself, why did I react that way? So, what would differentiate you beating up yourself is the intention behind that moment of sitting down and reflecting. Are you trying to find solution or you want to focus on the problem? There's this book by, say, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People that says start with the end in mind. Knowing the reason why you're having that sit down, it's very important because that is what will set the pace for the moment and the process. If you are doing it regularly, there are times that you would even go and you have the good intentions. I'm not going to lie about that. And then you start beating up yourself. Oh, you should have done better. Oh, you should have done better. At that point where you keep hammering yourself, you see your mind, attacking you in that sense. I would say that's the moment to stop that moment of reflection and do something else. Because what it means is that your emotions are high and you're not in the best position to reflect. Because your emotions can be they can be hindrances to helping you reflecting. Don't ever do anything when you're emotional. Don't do things when you're excited. Don't do things when you are excited. Don't do things when you are angry. A moment of reflection is a sober moment, a moment where there's no noise, everything is calm. You have to plan yourself into that reflection. And when you get into it and it's not going the way you want it, it's not like somebody dragged you into the reflection mode. Just go out and say, I'm not in the right headspace. I don't know if that you find that helpful. Seppi, does that help?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
You're welcome. So let's talk about the tools for self-reflection. I said I'll share the workbook again shortly. So let's talk about the tools. What tools can we use? We can use journaling. Like we said, when you're talking about journaling, you can ask yourself 2 questions to start with. See, when you want to get the best out of reflection, self-reflection, always go with questions. What did I do well? Or what went well? And the second question is, what can I improve? If you start with those 2 questions, life is good. It's as simple as that. What did I do well? Thank you, Victor, for sharing. What can I improve? Those 2 things is a good way and a good place to start your self-reflection journey. At the end of every day, just ask yourself, even if you cannot write it down, you can meditate. What did I do well today? And what can I improve? So we're talking about 2024 and 2025. What did you do well in 2024? And what can you improve? Meditation. So when we talk about meditation, a good way to start your meditation is taking deep breaths. Some of the people that I worked with last year, they're on this call, we did deep breaths and they saw the power of deep breath. I don't know if I can put any one of them on spot to share their experience from the deep breaths. When we were in primary school, they say, take a deep breath, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. We do not know that that thing is powerful. every time you want to reflect, just try to take 5 deep breaths before starting. What it does, it takes away your stress. In fact, let me not talk. I don't know if Olufolake or May or David or Queen Esther would like to share their thoughts about deep breaths. How was it for you? Anyone? Sorry, I'm putting you guys on the spot.
So thank you, Ade. I think one of the things I find with deep breathing is it brings me back to the present. So it helps me refocus. It makes me, so I know that before we start the exercises, you always say that something along the lines of take your mind off everything else and just focus on this moment. And I find that it's, especially when there's so many things, like sometimes, your head feels like you're all over the place. For me, it helps me kind of zone in, then I can start to pick things one by one rather than trying to sort everything at the same time. Don't know if that makes sense.
It does. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. So what it does, it empties your mind. So it's different from this yoga meditation where you just empty your mind and then all sort of things can fly into your mind. But what it does, it helps you to be present and focus on what is at hand. And when you start deep breaths before meditation or mindfulness, you always get better results. Self-assessment. Self-assessment like be, okay, how am I doing in my finances? How am I doing in my career? For some of us, some areas of our lives, we face it head on. For some of us, some other areas, we're in denial. A lot of people are in denial about their finances. Some people are in denial about their spiritual life. Some people is about their relationships. Oh, I'm not a people person. Forgetting that when God wants to answer your prayer, he will send a man. Feedback. Feedback is always very good. Getting feedback for yourself, getting feedback from your friends is always very good. Self-reflection, we've talked about that. Vision and goal mapping. There are a lot of trainings going on right now about vision board, about setting goals. But if you do not reflect, you just see that you keep building on the same structure, and at the end of the day, you might not stand well. Walking in nature. Have we noticed that for those of us that are in the abroad, permits me to say that, you see a lot of white people walking in nature. It's very important. Even if you see very successful people, they build their houses in ranches, in places where they can connect with nature and they can think. It helps as well. They're learning from mistakes. I always say that mistakes are data, and whatever data you collect, you can decide what you do with it. Is it that you want to beat yourself with it, or you say, okay, I've made this mistake, let me move on. So these are the benefits of self-reflection. We've talked about how the benefits of reflecting, how we can reflect, and some of the tools that help us. Now, let's go on to 2024 audit. And this is where you will need your workbook. We're going to be working on pages 4 to 12. I'm going to share my screen here as well. If you have the workbook, please download. If you don't have, it's in the chat room, and you can also focus on the screen. I will be sharing it on the screen. Just give me a moment. Is this making sense so far? Please give me thumbs up, emoji, whatever, chat to show if this is value for your time. Thank you, Folakemi. Okay, thank you, Queen Esther. Okay, it's making sense for 2 people. Thank you for not breaking my heart. Thank you, indeed. Thank you. Thank you, Isaiah. Thank you for it. Thank you, ETC. Okay, so this is the workbook. So let's go straight to page 4, but I'll just walk us through. So I wrote a love note, so you can read the love notes on page 2. And then page 3, it talks about the step you need to take, which I already spoke about. Now, this is where we want to start from page 4, which is the wheel of life. I'm going to make it very small. Now, the wheel of life is a tool that I always use to improve in every area of my life. But let me say this, it can be very daunting because working on all 7, 8 aspects of life at the same time can make you go crazy when you add it with your busy lifestyle. However, you can decide that this year, I want to focus on my health and I want to focus on my finances, or I want to focus on everything, depending on capacity. When you go for trainings or master classes like this, always pick the meat and customize it to yourself. Everything people share that work for them might not work for you 100%. What you want to take is the basic and now adapt it to who you are, to your kind of person. So what I want us to do, we're going to plot this graph. Is a graph. Look at health. The first lines, I've numbered them 1 to 10. On a scale of 1 to 10, where is your health in 2024? We're not talking about this new year. This is for 2024. 10 being I had perfect health. And when I talk about health, I'm talking about food, I'm talking about exercise, I'm talking about whether you went to the hospital, whether there is a diagnosis or not. You want to plot that. For family, how did you fare with your family? Did you love them? If you cannot write on the workbook yet, you can write, you have your writing paper, just write health. Score yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. Family, score yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. Relationships, when we talk about relationships, I'm talking about your friends, I'm talking about your colleagues at work, I'm talking about your business partners, I'm talking about your church members, all your relationships. Recreation, did you go for retreats? Did you travel? Did you have fun? Were there movie nights? Did you have dates? Spirituality, where's your spiritual life? Are you praying? Are you fasting? Are you reading the word? Did you do anything else? Just score yourself on 2024. Career or business. If you're in career and business, you can score yourself differently. Just put a line and divide it into two. But if yours is just career or just business, score yourself as well. Is there -2 for recreation? Yes, you can put minus as well. Yeah, you're allowed. Finance. Do you have savings? Do you know your net worth? Some people don't know their net worth. Do you know your net worth? Do you have investments? Are you in debt? Score yourself. Personal growth. Are you growing yourself? Did you grow throughout last year? Score yourself. So I'm going to give us 1 minute to do this scoring. Ideally, if we're in a live workshop where we was face to face, I would have given you colored pencils. So you now color it and see how beautiful the wheel of your life looks. So imagine I color family yellow, health blue, and then, or maybe you just pick 3 colors, red, green, and yellow, like the traffic lights. The ones that are low, you give it red. The ones that are average, you give it yellow. The ones that are good, you give it green. And then you can see the things in your life that are screaming for help. Let me know if you're done with this. We have 30 seconds to complete this. If you're not doing this, I want to encourage you to plug in. It's a workshop. It's not a place where we can just sit. If you can't print it, I'll just write it. Health, 4, this, that, just do that. If you're done, please let me know. Done. Well done, sis. Well done. Well done. Well done. Can we have more people finish up so that we can continue? Done. Well done. Well done. If I have 2 more people done, then we go on. Please, let's stay there. Let's be sure that we're all here. Done, 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 done. And if you're not in a place where you can do it, I want to encourage you to find time to do it. So let's go to all done. Great. So let's go to page 5. We're starting with spirituality. Thank you. Thank you. Spirituality, because I believe that your spiritual life is the crux of the matter. If your spirituality is not good, nothing is good. So can you begin to write the things that went well? Remember, always focus on the good. What went well in your spiritual life? I was able to pray. You don't have to pray every day, but I felt connected to God. Oh, last year I fasted. I was able to fast. Oh, last year I took some spiritual courses. I took some training. That's what went well. Then what is going well in your spiritual life? And then you want to look at what didn't go well and what needs change. So we're looking at 4 axes. What went well? What is going well? What didn't go well? And what needs change? So here we're going to I'm going to leave this on and take some 5 to 10 minutes. You're going to do that for every area of your life. So I know some people are not very fast writers. That's fine. Just do it. So we're stopping on page 12. You're going to do it for spirituality, for health, for finance, for family, for relationships, for career or business, for your personal growth and recreation. Yes, Isaac.
Say going well. Going well is present tense, isn't it?
Yes, it's
So,
intentional. So you know that for instance, for spirituality, you have to be praying. I'm
because you
constantly
wrote
praying.
2024, that's why I'm
Mhm.
like, if you say going well for,
S- Okay, I
it's no
get your
longer
point.
2024 now.
What I mean by that is that there are some things that you've started that might still be ongoing. So for instance, if you started a course, you're still doing it and it's going well. For me, I believe that some things are supposed to continue to just be going well. Continuous. They are present continuous, even though they were in last year, but they still flow into this year. Or maybe your Bible word. Have you increased in your Bible word? You can, okay, that's going well, but when you say went well throughout this year, it is your workbook. Just do it as you like. This is just a template. Somebody might have a better template,
You are
but
not
this is
submitting.
no, you're not submitting it. It's for you, but you're going to share if you're comfortable. So I'll keep quiet for 5 minutes now, and then I would get a few people to share. So one person will share whatever you're comfortable sharing. If you're not comfortable sharing, it's okay. But I would like us to just take this moment and begin to work on those. Let me play. So, okay, if I play music now, they will flag me for. I'm going to pause the recording so I can play music. Okay, let's take a pause and share how that was for us. What was it like? So let me start by sharing mine so that we are all certain that we're in it together. So I chose spirituality because I always believe that if that is sorted, every other area of my life is sorted. So one thing that I was only able to find out one thing that went well. One thing that went well was I served well in my local church and in places where I'm connected to. One thing the things that I wrote under going well, I still wrote 7 because I feel like because I'm still 7, so I feel it's going well. And another thing I wrote was that I stayed connected in my prophetic community. I think that is going well as well. For something that didn't go well, I was able to write one thing, fasting. I struggled a lot with fasting last year. I couldn't fast as much as I would love to. Now, the things that needs to change, they're usually plenty. So the first one I wrote is I need to be consistent in prayer. It's not like I don't pray, but I need consistency. Studying the word, I also wrote that needs consistency as well. Then having a structure for my ministry. So those are the things that I wrote down. I don't know if someone else would like to share. Who would like to share? Let's get at least 2 people share what they were able to get.
I would
Thank you,
love to
Simisola. Go
share.
for it. Yeah, thanks.
Right. Yes. So I was also able to reflect on spirituality and finance. And what went well, I was also able to serve in the church. The church, yes. I did a lot of serving in 2024. I was able to pray and worship. And I did a lot of fasting as well in 2024. What's going on well? The fasting aspect is going on well. I'm still serving as well. What didn't go well is the Bible study. So in 2024, I know I read the Bible, but I didn't do a lot of studying, right? So that didn't go well. And so for what needs to change is that the time allotted for the scripture will have to change, right? So it's not very early in the morning where you have to do, oh yes, I've read. Sometimes I did audio Bible, right? So that will change. Time allotted, so it could be a fuller time. Well, so that's where I'm taking it from this year. to a time that I'm more settled. I'm able to reflect on this verse of the scripture, and I'm not so much. I'm not going to put more energy or too much energy on if I'm able to read 5 chapters or two. If it's 2 verses, so that needs to change. And I did health, but I want to share finance. So what went well in the finance, we were able to save, and I prioritize expenses. So I wasn't just spending. I was able to give put it on a scale of, if I don't do this, will anything happen? Is anybody going to die or anything going to go wrong? If it's not going to go wrong, then we don't have to spend on it. So that went well last year. And then I also went into other means of income. So I was able to, well, but I worked too much. So it was because I was waiting to get more money, right? And save more money. Let me see that the account is fat, right? So what's going on? Well, the means of income are still there, but what didn't go well, I had to spend a lot of time working, right, to be able to save. So that will possibly reduce. That's the bad side of it, yes. And I was not able to build credit score. I wasn't ready to take credit card. I wasn't ready to buy in, pay little by little. It wasn't but they said it's how you roll in this nation. So that didn't go well. I didn't build my credit score last year. So, but I don't know if I'll do it this year. I'm not sure. I'm still not sure if I want to do it. So one needs to change. I couldn't write anything. Okay.
Oh, thank you so much for your vulnerability. Thank you for
Thank
sharing.
you.
So I
Thank you.
was teasing you that fasting has to go well because you have 100 days fast. You have no choice.
Oh yeah. Right.
Now, for finances, I love what you said. Is there anybody going to die? If they're not going to die, there's no point. I love that. Please, you need to go and
Thank
build
you.
credit score. You need to build your credit score. And we're in the same city before I moved to Canada, and I was like, I don't want to do anything on credit. I don't want to do it. My sister, put your phone on the direct debit. If you can put your house rent on direct debit, little things like that. Take some small credits so that you can build your credit score. Because when I started doing it, my credit score was so good that when I now left UK, the bank that I wanted to even get loan from, they were now calling me to come and collect loan. I think I've ported.
Oh,
It's too late.
yeah. Good.
All right, all the best. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Isaac, please go for it.
Okay. Somehow it seems because we started with spirituality, you gave us a lead, and yeah, I looked at that too, but I'll just try and I'll add family kind of. Or I was doing it and I saw that
Talk
it's
about
kind of like
family. Actually, talk
sorry?
about family. You can talk about family instead.
Okay.
Mm.
So yes, I was going to say when I was doing recreation, I found out that I was answering family questions on recreation. So I may just combine the two somehow. So yeah, for family recreation, I spent time with my family last year. I think maybe more. Yeah, because my kids are quite young. So to some extent, I think they're now getting to really understand, you being available. When they're really, really small, whether you are there, you're not there, they don't really understand. But now I think they're getting to that point where, okay, mommy is there, daddy is not there. We can say, we can understand. So yeah, we were able to, as a family, we were able to bond, even as much as we had so many people live with us. Like we had a lot of people live with us. So it was not just my immediate family. We had extended family. So, but immediately they were out, somehow my husband was able to take time and we were able to take time as just the family, just the four of us. So I think that really went well last year, 2024. I'm grateful to God for that. So if it's going well, yes, even now that we've entered 2025, it's going well, yeah, to a large extent, lots of things have been put in place now where we can say, yes, when I was reading something, or I'm listening to, I do a lot of listening. I'm not a reading, I can't really bring myself to reading anything. If not, I won't read anything. So I listen more to books. And somewhere they were saying you can be in their bed and, as in bedtime, you be with them, you pray with them, and, so lie on their bed. And I found myself doing it. It's not like I can't or I would have never done it, but I actually saw myself doing it this year, like I've started. So I'll say, yeah, that's going well. So, didn't go well. Shouting. As in, I don't know how to put it. My husband, he says, you shout a lot, this, that, they. But I will not lie, I hear him shout at them. So even in my mind, I'm like, it's as if it's only me that shouts, but he does shout too. So, but when he says that, I think I always feel like, that means there can actually be sorry, there are some people that, because I know there's a lady that doesn't really shout at her kids, or shout, you say you don't shout on, you shout at. Yeah, they say they try to put things in place. Sorry, I hope I'm not taking time. They try to put things in place so that they won't have to shout. Because I say, I don't understand. I will say that before I know I'm shouting, even as much as I tell myself, I don't want to shout, I even talk to God, like, God, help me. When I finish praying, God, help me. Like fasting and praying, self. The next minute, I'm shouting. So, that went bad. As I went, what they say, didn't go well. Bad, that part. Needs to change, still that part. So, that's what for it, for family, for me. Praise, if I say praise God. So, but yeah, I know that they said there are a lot of things that you can put in place for them. Like if, for example, waking up early, if you can wake up early as a family, write that this task, they should do this, that. If you wake up early and do this, that, you may not necessarily have to shout. That's what they say. And I try to, do it in my own home. But for the kind of daughter I have, it's like, or rather, should I say for the kind of kids I have, if I don't shout, they won't hear. So I don't know, but I really want to get to that point where if you are saying on the scale of 0 to 10, maybe my own is 1. Yeah, so that's for me,
5.
for family.
Sis, you're not the only one shouting. May God
No,
deliver all of
some
us
people
from
know they shout
shouting.
too.
Well, we'll learn. That's why we're
Who
here. Oh, she says she doesn't shout because she doesn't like being shouted at. Please,
is that?
Olufolake, put your antidote in the group chat for us.
Ah.
Finesta, please go for it. Thank you so much, IZ, for being vulnerable.
See me laughing my life out here. I even shout now, sef. May God help me. So, I'm only good evening, everyone. I did spirituality and health. Actually, the spirituality, when you were talking, I thought that I didn't do much. But when you're talking, I get to realize that I actually tried. Although I'm not looking for the word try, but at least mo gbìyànjú, as in I tried. So for went well. I just as she said, I like to listen as well. So I did 1 year Bible on Apple on U version. Although some days I have to do some catch up. Sorry. So I have to do some
You
catch up,
didn't go to
but
shout.
no, they connect to prayer storm. So I just lock them there to just be doing some stuff. So yeah, so I did that. Some days I have to do some catch up, but I was able to finish. And then I was asked to lead a prayer in Super Working Mom. Although at the start I always have like a panic attack kind of a way, like I won't be able to sleep the day I'm supposed to lead. But the thing is when I lead, sometimes I don't even imagine what is coming out that I'm saying. That the Holy Spirit just take charge. That someone actually call me and give me a word that I have teaching something. I say, mommy, I'm not sure about that one. So that kind of really helped me. So when you were talking, I thought I didn't do well last year, but actually, I I tried. And then going well, continue to listen to the Bible I'm on a second journey right now. So, and reading the book of Proverbs, going way as well. Joining a prayer in the morning. Sometime I miss a day, sometime it's still doing well. But didn't go well. There are some books that I'm reading. I wasn't able to finish them. So I put them down that did not go well. I did serve as well. I serve in children's church. I put my all into it because I love children. But it's just my own that I like looking at other people, looking after other people's children kind of a way. It's not like I don't look after my own children, but shouting on them kind of like God, we are working on that. Can you hear me? Oh, okay. So need to change. I write, make sure I complete the book I started that I didn't, that I started last year that I didn't finish. So I have to make sure I finish them this year. Continue to plug well as well. And then I wrote, okay, doing well as well. I connect with the Revival School this year. I think they did something about praying, using winds to pray. They just finished recently. And I started reading that book as well. Though sometimes I feel a bit scared to command the wind, but I'm looking at it like, okay, is it gonna work or something? But I'm working on that as well. So quickly, I for the health part, I wrote went well. I said lose weight, but gain it back. So, so that one, I know I did well at the beginning, like lose weight, but I kind of gained it back kind of a way. We went for a retreat last year, November, and the way I head to that place, like I pay for money now. Let me just.
Don't talk about that retreat because I was supposed to be part. So let me tell
Oh,
everybody,
sorry.
we're supposed to go on a retreat in Spain. So I missed that retreat. And I have some corporates that we're supposed to go together here. So I'm talking to you for like he's paying me.
It's like nobody's business. So I've gained some weight. So and I wrote them down so that I have to get back on track. And secondly, when you were talking as well, I was thinking that did something really go well? And actually, something did go well because I don't have any cost to go and sleep on the hospital bed or go for emergency and all that. That actually go well. I know I go for checkup regularly. My appointment was cancelled, but in all, God take absolute control. No medication, no this, no that, and all that. So apart from gaining weight and yeah, so and I stopped there. The rest I will do it later. So
Thank you.
thank
Thank you so much for sharing, and thank you for being very vulnerable. We appreciate it. There's a point Queen Esther mentioned that I wanted to talk on is that we always think that things are not going well. Until you begin to reflect, you see that some things are actually going better than you think they are. So let's keep that up. Okay, so we continue because of time. I'm very conscious of our time, so let's go on. That's the part of review, reflect. So as you reflect, what happens is that you begin to review. So Peter Drucker says you can't manage what you can't measure. Now, we've talked about some of the things we did last year, how we did them, the challenges we faced, and how we're going to do better and what needs to change. That is reflection and reviewing at the same time. So what we've just done now is we're reviewing and reflecting at the same time. So let's talk about, we're supposed to go into breakout rooms to talk about this, but let's keep it here because most people are not on video. So let's look at reset. So reset, we'll go back to page 20 to the workbook. But before we do that, let's just look at this. So what you want to do for 2025 is plot the graph. And when you're plotting the graph, you are comparing it to 2024 graph that you've plotted for your wheel of life. So if for spirituality, you give yourself, for instance, I gave myself a 6. Now my 6 might be somebody else's 10. So don't compare. That's why I say everybody's different. So if you give yourself a 6 for spirituality, ask yourself, where do I want to be in 2025? And be realistic. There's a room for taking risks. There's a room for believing God for everything. But remember that if you say you want to go from a 6 to a 10, you must be able to put in the effort. So you can say, if by the end of 2025, I move from 6 to 8, I am fine. plot it. So say you want to be at 8. And when you plot it, put it where you want to see it so that you can focus on it. So we're going to do that. But before we do that, let's just round up all our charts and then we'll do that. How do you now begin to reset? When we talk about reset, what are we talking about? So I'm going to talk about the be, do, have strategy. And I'm going to stop sharing so I can just see everybody and then we'll talk. The be, do, have strategy. A lot of times when we are setting goals, we start from, what am I going to do? That is a wrong way to set goals. In fact, let me just go back to my slide. Sorry. Then I would explain. When you're talking about setting goals or planning for a new year, start from your identity. Who am I or who do I want to become? Start from being. Start from being. It's very important. So for instance, when you look at your spiritual life, who do you want to be? You want to be Elijah? You want to be Esther? You want to be Deborah? Or you want to be Jesus? Because when you understand who you want to be, that is what will inform you about what you need to be doing. And then when you start doing, you start having. I'm going to take that again. When you are setting goals, ask yourself, who do I want to be? So if you take your finances, for instance, or you take your, let me use Queen Esther, your health. I want to be a healthy person. Then you ask yourself, what do healthy people do? I want to be a wealthy woman. What do rich people do? I want to be a CEO. What do CEO do? Because if you start from just setting goals on the things you need to do, at the end of the day, you might be conflicting with your identity. But when you start from the place of where you want to be, and then you move to say, what do people like this do? So I want to be on fire for God. The people that are on fire for God, what do they do? I want to be there for my family. I want to be a family person. I want to, okay, let's say most of us here are married. I want to be a loving spouse. What do loving spouses do? I want to be a healthy person. If you now tell yourself you want to be a healthy person, every time you want to be eating candy and cake, you ask yourself, do healthy people eat this? Sorry, I said, I know you make cake. I'm not throwing shade at you. I'm just saying, I just give an example. I want to be a rich person. I want to be a wealthy person. People that are wealthy, what do? They have multiple streams of income. They budget, they save, they invest. Then that will now inform you what you need to do. But when you are starting with, oh, I want to make money, you are not starting the right way. And that is why when you go to the workbook, let me share the workbook again. And you're about to plot your graph. After you've plotted your graph and you go into the workbook, you will see what I said here for the for 2025, for planning for 2025. I said, who do I want to be? That's the first question. What do I need to learn to be that person? What do I need to do? Who and what can help me? And why is this important? You might be asking, why do I have to answer these questions? When you set goals and you don't look at these things, you are not likely going to achieve those goals because you will not be committed enough to achieve them. So if I say I want to be on fire for God, that's who I want to be. So why is it important to me that I should be on fire for God? Maybe I don't want to die. Maybe I want to be saved. Maybe I want to whatever. Maybe I want to do exploits for the kingdom. Write why it is important. Because when you understand the reason it is important, it will help you to commit to it. Then what do I need to learn? Okay, I need to learn how to preach. I need to learn how to read the scripture. I need to learn how to study the Bible. What do I need to do? I need to start reading the Bible, studying the Bible, or taking courses. Who can help me? You need to identify 2 or 3 people around you now that can help you be better in it. By the time you feel this and you have all these people, you know what to do. So I would say that when you're planning for this, ensure that you pick one thing to work on at a time for each area. Don't work on plenty things at the same time, except they are interwoven. So for instance, if you say health, I want to be a healthy person. That's what I want to be. Why is this important? Because when I grow old, I don't want them to be carrying me. I want to be able to walk even at 90. What do I need to learn? I need to learn how to eat healthy. I need to learn the kind of foods to eat. I need to learn what I need to be doing so that I can stay healthy. What do I need to do? Exercise, eat well, go for medical checkups. Who can help me? I can now look around me. Who are the people that know about food? Who are the people that I've seen that have lost weight? Okay, Ade lost weight and she kept her weight throughout the year. Ade can help me. Okay, Queen Esther lost weight, even though she gained it back. What did she do to gain? And I can begin to ask questions. If you do this, you are more equipped to work at your goals than just saying, I want to achieve 1, 2, 3, 4. And this can be applied to anything. You're running a business, you're running a ministry. You can say, oh, in this business, what kind of business do we want to be? What kind of ministry do we want to be? What do we need to learn? What do we need to do? Who or what can help us? And why is this important? So I'm going to give us another 5 minutes because by 11:30, we will take questions and we'll be rounding up. So in 5 minutes, plot your graph for 2025. Pick an area where you want just one. We can't do everything today. Just pick one area. You have the workbook, sit with it, and then write whatever you want to work on. Do we have questions before we go into that session? Sorry, my laptop is dying. I forgot to charge it. Any questions? Are we still here? Is it making sense?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it's making sense.
Yes,
And
it
I
it's
just
is.
want to
Yeah, please ask your
ask,
question. Mm.
yes, that I know that the workbook has lots of aspects of life that we should look at. But is it personally, I this year I'm picking just about three aspects that I want to focus on. Yeah.
Mhm.
So is that fine?
It's fine.
Rather than
It's
touching on
fine.
all of it and then not getting anything,
In
not
fact, if
getting
you
it all
ask me,
done this year. Yeah.
sorry to interrupt you. If you ask me, I would say pick one aspect per quarter
Right.
and focus on it. You see, the problem is, like I said, if you remember at the beginning, I said one of the dangers of today's world is busyness. We want to
Mm.
do everything at the same time. I'm talking to myself too. I know if you people that know me, they say I do too much activities. And because we want to do everything at the same time, we end up doing nothing. Or we end up doing them and we don't do them well. Quarter 1, I want to focus on my spirituality because I want to start with God. What do I need to do? Who do I want to be? Why is it important? Who can help me around me? What can help me? And I focus on it. And in that spirituality, if I want to say, in spirituality, there are a lot of things you can focus on. I can decide that in this quarter 1, for me, one thing I'm focusing on quarter 1 for spirituality is that I want to be able to read the word consistently. I am not consistent in my Bible study. So please don't. That's why I said when you go for master classes, when they are sharing tips, ask yourself, what can work for me? Some people can do all of it. Some of us are grace. We're graced to do a lot of things at the same time. Some people cannot function that way. So pick one area. And you can even say this area is just one. Sorry about that. Pick just one area and say, in this one area, I'm picking just one thing. If you're picking family, I just want to spend time with my family. I want to be someone that is present with my family. If you're picking finances, I want to earn more. I need to look for additional income. If it is health, I want to lose weight. And when you say you want to lose weight, there are so many things you need to do. So pick one. Maybe you want to start eating well or you want to start exercising. It can be, I want to start doing 5,000 steps every day. Pick one thing. And the reason why I say you should have people that can help you is that those people can also serve as accountability to you. They can hold you accountable. In fact, some of us on this call have heard this. I have a friend, he's a mutual friend to some of us on this call. What she does is after she does her goals, she will send an email to a friend that she knows that doesn't take nonsense and say, hold me accountable for these things. And that person will say, okay, and because she'll put timelines, she'll put deadlines to it. And that person will now say, have you done this? Have you done this? Have you done that? So don't be in a hurry. This workshop would have been very nice if it was a face-to-face workshop. It would be an entire day. We'll do different activities, we'll take breaks, we'll eat, and then you will do the work there. Because a lot of people, they would, once after this call, I know you will not touch it again. But if you do it for one area of your life now, my work on this call would have been done. I know that one area, whether you work on it or not, because you have written it down, heaven will make it happen. So let's take 5 minutes to work on it. Let's go on. Would anybody like to share? Can we hear from people that we've not heard from? Let me look at the participant list. Anybody would like to share? Hi, Ajoke, Antonia, Ayomide, Olukokun, Chris, David, Fikewa, Folusho, May, Oluwabukalami, Victor. Anybody like to share? And if from people that have shared before, it's fine as well, please.
Thank you. Thank you, my big sis Ade. I actually, I mean, I'm at the salon, I won't lie, but I was listening in so that when I get home, I'll go through the workbook. I just wanted to know what to do, and it was really helpful knowing what to do. I've never ever done New Year goals or all those things. So, but I was like, this year I need to be serious with my life and plan every area. And I think the major takeaway was to know that I don't have to do everything at once so that I'm not overwhelmed, and just prioritize, or maybe start with 3 or 4 and then walk through the list. I guess I can always do like a 6 months review. I guess some places would have been doing better, and I can now add on maybe more areas to do. So thank you so much. And thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Vikera, for the feedback. I really appreciate it. In fact, I would suggest that you do a quarterly review. For those of you that plan for 2025, I used to plan for the year. I don't plan for the year anymore. I plan on a quarterly basis. So I say, so if you look at a part of the workbook, I put that option 30, 60, 90 days. You know what happens when we plan for the year? By the time we get to June, I said June, April, we're tired already. We've forgotten everything we've planned. So what I do now, I plan for the quarter. I don't plan for the year. So I have my quarter 1 goals. And so I was open. I didn't want to share too many resources, but I also have a resource that helps me breaks it down in quarters. And then I can also now share it in months and then break it down in weeks. So that it's a fantastic goal, but we can't, if I call a meeting for 4 hours, nobody will answer me. You get the point. Thank you so much. Anybody else would like to share before we go on?
I can share.
Thanks, Winesta.
Okay, I start with spirituality, although I haven't write much down yet. The first question said, what do I want to, who do I want to be? I said I want to be like Adam, like Christ-like. I love how Adam have personal fellowship with God in the garden, able to hear him, talk to him just as I'm talking to you. I really love that and desire that. All right, talking with God daily, like a child talking to his or her parent. And what do I need to do? Or what do I need to learn? Read books, stay with the word of God, Bible, be still in his presence, in God's presence. That's what I wrote there. I know there might be more to plug in here and there as well. So what do I need to do? Connect with people that is going same direction as me. So for example, attending, is it prayer? Yeah, yeah. So and then what and what what and what can help me? All right, Coach Ade and Super Working Mom. The reason why most people might not know the reason why I like Super Working Mom, because Super Working Mom is a community where I belong, that they are helping me to thrive. Most people knows me here that before I'm not able to be confident to even stand here and be talking the way I'm talking right now. So that's why I put it there. And why is that important? To keep me accountable so that someone can be there to hold my hands in a way and they're not judgmental. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Queen Esther, for sharing. Yes, so Super Hockey Mom, a couple of us belong to a community called Super Hockey Mom. That's where I have my own coach, because even the coach needs a coach. So I've been in the community since 2017. So if you see me growing, if you see me doing anything, it's because of I have a coach that, a coach that God has used to hold my hand. And we have a couple of ladies here, Folake, Queen Esther. We've been together for a couple of times and we've seen the tremendous growth in our lives. And it's also a community where women are allowed to become who they are. So all of us are becoming leaders in our own right. So if you're in the UK, please plug in. If you want to join the Super Hockey Mom, it's a community of women that are on fire for God. That's where I started my journey of personal growth. So if you want more details, I'm happy to share that. I belong to the community. I serve in the community. I love the community. And we go on retreats. So we were supposed to go to Spain last year, but because I was coming to Canada, I missed the Spain retreat. This year we're going to Portugal. So I can't wait. And when we go for a retreat, we'll pray, we'll plan, we do all of that. So let me not bore us with those details. Thank you everyone for sharing. Oh, yeah. So we're also looking at starting a Super Working Mom Canada chapter. If we'll look at that, so that because of the time difference, we're trying not to work on that at the moment. But no much details for now. So thank you everyone for sharing. Now is Q&A. Let's take questions. Do we have questions? Do you think you're equipped on how to yeah, if you're in US, I know you're in US, Ngozi, you can join, we can create, the Canada chapter will work for US and Canada. It's actually for Canada and US. We can always talk about that. So do we have questions? Do we think we have been equipped to review, reflect, and plan for 2025 by just being in this session? Now, let me see everybody's face. I'm going to remove the spotlight so I can see everybody's face. Any questions, any comments? How has this session been for us, please? And I want to hear from people that have not spoken. Thank you, Olufolake. Yeah, Victor, please go for it.
Yeah, so thank you so much for this. It's been a wonderful time. So for me, I've been in and out. My wife is in another meeting. She's taking a session. So I've been with the children in and out, but the much I can, I've been able to, do. And it's really a great one because you mentioned something that really aligns so well with what I do. The quiet times for me when I get to reflect, when I'm in the toilet. And another one I do a lot is when I'm driving. So we do lots of road trips. Those are the times I get to really reflect and God speaks to me. It's like a gusher. Somebody opens a tab as I'm reflecting. So I can be in a car, even if it's a 15 minutes drive. So those moments are really very powerful for me. So I don't do a lot of journal. I used to in the past. And you said something I'm also taking out, having a device. I have journals. In fact, there's a particular journal I'm searching for. We've moved a lot in the past 5-7 years. And my wife was like, "Oh, it's in Nigeria." I said, "No, I remember we took it from Malaysia to Nigeria. I brought it back to the US. I know I saw it, and we can't find that donor. And there's so much. So that kind of discouraged me because I have had daughters, notes, diaries, journals of different kinds over the years, and they are all not with me right now. So some I was able to carry, some you misplace them. So it's not an excuse, but it's something I also want to pick up again this year. Maybe that device mentioned you can only write. Oh, I think that would be a good one for me. I really don't do much on the iPad because I feel it can be distracting to sometimes. Yeah, so and that I'll do more this year, do more journaling. Yeah, thank you. Please share the name of that device. I know it's
Yes, I will. Thank you
okay.
so much, Victor. I love this feedback. So it's Kindle Scribe, but there's also a remarkable tablet. So what the difference, someone is asking for the difference. The difference is that with Kindle Scribe, you can read books on Kindle and write. But if you Remarkable Tablet allows you to write, as well as if you're a creative person that you do graphic design, you can also draw, but you can only write. So you can't put social media on it. So when you buy for the Kindle Scribe, why I like it is that if I buy a book on Kindle, I can write directly on that book, and it will put my notes by the side of the book. Then I can also have notebooks I've created myself. Let me see if I can remove just the background again and just show you some of the things I've written. One sec. So this is what it looks like. Let me unlock. You can lock it as well. This is the pen it comes with. So you can see what I was writing. So you can see my handwriting. I was noting myself. So I can also flip the pages, and then I can clean. It has eraser as well. So yeah, and then I can read books on it. So that's why I went for Kindle Scribe. But you can also do Remarkable, but you won't have the Kindle option to be able to read on it. So it's away from the distraction, from all the social media buzz and all of that. Yeah. Thank you so much for the feedback. I appreciate it. Isaac, please go for it.
Hey, I just wanted to say, one, thank you for sending me the link. Many times when I'm sent a link, because somehow to a large extent, I'm always very busy. So I was just telling myself that I go learn one or two now, put them on, and be doing whatever it is I'm doing, because that's what I do most of the time when I'm in meetings. I hardly ever have the time to sit down. But funny enough, I'm kind of free today. So I said, when you were talking and saying that this is not a meeting where you put on you like join in and be doing what you're doing, I'm like, now me did they talk to? So I just told myself, oh, I'm actually free today, because if I wasn't free, that's what I would have done, I think. So I just decided to, come, and you said we should come to a place where we'll be not distracted and all that. So I came here, and yeah, I've really learned a lot, because I just told myself I won't make too many. And that's some years ago, I just decided that I won't be making so many plans. New Year resolution. There's only one thing I'll just do, but I'm happy that I've learned how to go about it in a better way this year. So thank you very much for the reflection. Yeah, I use my toilet too most of the time. Just be there. You can be there and you end up spending so much time there. Yeah. So thank you very much. I'm really grateful. I invited somebody. When I was in the meeting, I'm like, somebody may still benefit from this. So I now send the link to somebody. I say, join if you can. Yeah, though she didn't join on time, but she eventually did join. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. That warms my heart. Simi, please go for it.
Yeah, thank you so much. This has been very, very impactful, but I didn't expect less anyway. So when you sent that link, I knew that yes, it was time. And apart from the link, I had a conversation with you earlier. It's just what I needed for this year. I said this year you have to be serious with yourself, especially your spirituality. And the session has been able to help me put most of the thoughts I've had in perspective and written down a few things that I need to do and follow through with it. Thank you so much. I'll just say a prayer that your well of wisdom will not run dry in the name of Jesus. Whenever you get information, you always want to share. You always, at some point, I'll say, Madam Moimbo, have come, let me pause small. And the last way I can come in, yes. So always, 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 always after information and ready to share what you've learned. Thank you so much. Please do not hesitate to share more in the future, right? And I am personally also interested in the super working mom. If you can share the link, I wouldn't mind. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the year.
Thank you. Amazing. I love it. So thank you. This actually gladdens my heart, and I'm glad that you all feel this way. No matter, even if it's one thing you're taking away, I'm so happy. The final thing I wanted to share before we go is I'm having
Can I please add mine to all the accolades you've been given
Please go
tonight?
ahead. We're speaking.
It's Tosin.
Oh,
Tosin
hi,
Adequate.
Tosin. Oh,
Hi, good
sis.
evening.
She's also in the
Yeah,
Sparky Mom.
I just wanted to appreciate you and thank you so much for this workshop. It's really been a blessing. And in terms of how to plan, um, some of us here may know how to do it already, but what I particularly like about your session tonight is, all those leading questions that you need to ask yourself to tease out all the things that you can reflect on. Like for me, for example, I find it difficult to remember things that have happened in the past or the things that occurred, but with those questions, I think if I, because I'm at work now, sorry, so I'm multitasking. So when I do go back, and work on the workbook, I believe that, you have deposited or have helped, to make this year a spectacular one for me. And just that alone, I just want to bless you and thank you.
So much, sis. Thank you. Thank you. And this is something about the Sparky Mom members. We support ourselves. Even though we all belong to the same community, if anybody's doing something, we rally around, we support ourselves. When there is a problem, we pray. So we pray every day, 5 a.m., even though I don't join the prayers. I'm confessing my sins. But we're a praying community. Thank you so much, sis. I really do appreciate it. Shout out to all the Sparky moms in the house. Love you, ladies. Yeah. So one more thing before we round up. Well, I want to be, because I know that there is something I did mention all through this session is the power of community. Is the power of community. And I think I did mention, I've been talking about Super Working Mom, right? A lot of times we want to do things after January, February, March, our excitement begins to dwindle. And then we're like, what's going to happen? So what I'm trying to do this year is to help as many people on this journey. Like Simisola said, when I know something, I don't want to keep it to myself because I can't give you all my friends money and I can't be there for them. But if I share what I know, they can decide to use it or not use it. So I'm having an 8 weeks masterclass, mastermind rather, and we're going to be reading the book called Attitude. A lot of people don't know that attitude is key in anything you do. I remember when I worked as a team lead, I would rather hire for attitude than for skills. So we're going to be doing this for 8 weeks, starting in February. So if you're interested, it's called Attitude 101, written by John Maxwell. And in this book, it helps individuals recognize attitudes that impact their performance, their problem with feelings, behaviors, and thinking in yourself and others. You identify 6 common attitude problems that undermine teamwork and discover the secret to changing a bad attitude. The reason why you're not achieving your goals is your attitude. It's very simple. If you change your attitude towards a lot of things, things will change. So it's for 8 weeks. We'll have weekly Zoom classes. So we'll give you support material. So you have workbooks. There'll be self-reflection activities and accountability. And this is an investment. This is paid. It's not going to be free. If you're not joining, it's fine. There'll be other free sessions I will invite you to. If you want to connect with me, especially for people that I've not met before, I will drop my details in the chat room just for you to connect, and you can always plug into the free webinars. But this is an investment of $69 if you're in the US, £50, £57 if you're in UK. God has blessed me. I have friends everywhere. $100 Canadian dollars if you're in Canada. If you register between now and next week, Saturday, you get a 15% discount, and we can take it off from there. And that is all from me. Thank you, everybody. I hope this session has been good, but please don't go yet. I want to launch a poll just for me to know what to do better the next time. I always like feedback. Remember, what you cannot measure, you cannot improve. So I'm going to launch the webinar survey. Please fill the survey. And if you have questions or anything, do let me know. Yeah, Ituzi says, this has been a timely session. My year started off really slow and I've been mostly uninspired to do anything relating to my goals. Oh, bless you. I wanted to accomplish. This was definitely, yeah, thank God. Thank God. I'm so happy this helped you. Thank God. So please help with the webinar. And if you're interested in the masterclass, I will drop my details, drop in my email, and I will share details. For everyone who joined, if you're not connected to me, I would share, please send an email to this email so I can share the recording with you, because I'm sure you will definitely need the recording. If you want to reach out on WhatsApp, I'm sharing my WhatsApp details as well. For my people in Canada, I'm also sharing my phone number in Canada. Please, those are my contact details. Thank you. I appreciate everyone. Just waiting for people to fill the poll, and it's a wrap.